What up? What up? What up? Daniel Augustin here. Want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. A couple thoughts that I wanted to share along the week. Took me some time to get these videos out, but I'm going to go through them quickly so that I can get a lot of thoughts across within a short amount of time. That's probably a lot. So, for starters, I want to say that I was right about Ole Miss. I was right. And I think I'm not just right about Ole Miss, I think I'm right about a lot of coaches, a lot of colleges, a lot of programs. A lot of these guys are so focused on the playoff because they know there's a spot that they're trying so hard to get that spot instead of focusing on their opponent. And that's why teams like Alabama are getting tripped up on Vanderbilt and Oklahoma. I watched that game. And honestly, I believe that Alabama had their chances. And because they're such a big play team, I've been talking about them all season. If Alabama's not scoring touchdowns in a big play kind of way, they don't know how to maneuver down the field in a, okay, I'll come out here and I'll farm every day type of way. They don't know how to get it between the sticks. They know how to go deep beyond your will. They know how to run their quarterback behind your entire defense, catch you off guard with it, even though you know he can do that. They know how to get you with the running back that just hit the hole so fast that you just can't catch him, or when he do hit the hole, he's so strong that you can't take him down. Yeah, but they don't know how to play beyond their greatest strength. And so they catch themselves tripped up, not just by their strength, but by their inability to focus on their opponent. Because if you focus on your opponent, you're going to come locked in, prepare for what they do. Everybody done seen Oklahoma. Week after week, teams done beat Oklahoma repeatedly. And here y'all go, losing to Oklahoma. So I like seeing certain teams get toppled. A lot of people, Stephen A. Smith, a lot of people are talking about SEC may not need to be considered one of the top conferences. I think these guys tripping up to teams like Oklahoma and Vanderbilt, Kentucky, I'm not going to put Florida in that mix because you know better. You know. Guys tripping up to these teams is proof that the SEC conference is dangerous. It's a jungle. It's a jungle. You get caught up by a LSU Tiger. You might get bit up by a Florida Gator. You might get turned on by an Ole Miss Rebel. Might get bit by a Georgia Bulldog, Mississippi State Bulldog. Toe out the frame by an Auburn Tiger. Ain't they the Missouri Tigers as well? They something else. They're not the Missouri Tigers, is it? Nah? What else we got? Get your butt toe out the frame, cheek toe apart by a Texas Longhorn? That's crazy, ain't it? What else is it? Get your whole vertebrae ripped out by an Arkansas Razorback? Lord, have mercy. What else we at with it? Who else in there? I feel like I done said them all. Oh, okay. Get a cartoon frame like a Kentucky Wildcat? I was trying to go for the Garfield pun, but I don't know if that landed. The SEC is wild. You know I ain't got nothing to say about no Vanderbilt Commodore or no Tennessee Volunteer. Them names just came to me. But hey, Tennessee, y'all better take care of business this week. I know that much. I know that much. Look, man, normally I get to my 2-minute drill, but I'm going to go through them all right here like this, just as I got it. I want to say I think it's disgusting, annoying, and I can't stand it, the fact that the college football playoff puts Boise State in that spot with the bye. And they don't respect the Big 12. They don't respect the P4. Y'all named it the P4. Where the P4 came from, where that whole colloquialism came from, what it's there for. These are the biggest 4 conferences right here. Okay, boom. Slot them in there. Know what they are. Know who they are. Another thought. I am so tired of hearing people like Joel Klatt talk about how the college football playoff is doing this all wrong. First of all, this is the first iteration. Stop acting like it's supposed to be perfect. Second of all, the big beef Klatt has with the playoff. The people who have the seeds are allegedly not given the best opportunity forward despite their success throughout the regular season. And it seems like the team who's seated at number 5, 6, 7, 8, and has those first round buys are the ones who are actually more in an advantageous situation because they get their home round. They get to play at home. And then you go from playing at home to then playing in an off-campus location, a bowl game, and they don't reseed the numbers. I don't think going to the college football playoff is supposed to be about making it easier on the top team. I think the fact that the top team gets a bye is the win. It's the win. Your possibility is based on your availability. Why isn't a week off important to some of these? That's why. They're pundits. They're not coaches. The problem is I'm concerned whether or not some of these coaches are spreading the right message week in and week out. Why didn't Colorado come out ready to play? I went and watched Deion Sanders' post-game conference, and I thought to myself, Deion, I agree with you, but I disagree with you. I agree with you. You were supposed to get those guys ready to play, but I disagree with you. You're saying that that's not who we are. That's not the type of team we are. That's not indicative to who we are. Why aren't you telling yourself the truth, Mr. Sanders? I got to ask you, why aren't you telling yourself the truth? Why aren't you asking yourself the truth? Why aren't you being real with yourself? That is who you are. That is who your team is. When your team plays against another team that is committed to running the football, and they know why they're committed to running the football, you lose. This team loses. Happened 3 times this season. So unless you can get your team ready to come out and play and beat that style of offense too, then what you saying in the press conference, I'm now in a place where I have to go ahead and say checkmate, because I love everything I'm seeing that I see. But from a perspective of being the head coach, it feels like he is teaching them to play like their cornerbacks. Everybody is out there playing their prettiest game. That's not how this works. That's not how this is going to work. I done heard him say things like, if a cornerback has 7 tackles, that's a bad thing. Perhaps. I understand his philosophy. If a cornerback has 7 tackles, it probably means that the wide receiver caught a hitch on him, something short, and he had to come up and make a tackle, so he got beat. I understand that concept, that philosophy, that thought process. But every game is different. So you can't keep preaching the cornerback's mindset into the mindset of an entire football team. Shiloh Sanders is always playing back about 20 yards. Heard in another one of the press conferences, it's not really the safety's job to come up and play the run. If they're coming up and playing the run, that means it's something else that's wrong. No. It's 11 on 11. It's 11 on 11. You playing against the Kansas Jayhawks. They don't be throwing the ball like that. They got receivers, but they don't throw it like that. Because when they do, Jalen Daniels gets to throwing interceptions. So that means you got to come into this game ready to stop the run, committed. That's all it is. That's all it's going to be. You got to win this game. Now you come up in this week and you need Arizona State to lose. You need BYU to lose. You need Iowa State to lose, and maybe even Texas Tech and them. And then maybe that's on Deion. That's on Deion. You got to get them ready to play for the kind of game it's going to be. And that one hurt because I have high hopes for the underdog. I had high hopes for Colorado, but they underachieve. They oversell, but underachieve at times. Now, I want to see them max out to the selling price. I believe it's worth its salt. It's worth the sell. It's worth the pitch. It's worth the branding that I'm seeing and that I'm getting and that I'm being sold on. Another idea, another thought I had in mind, Deion came into the press conference and said,
Travis' numbers are tremendous, and the last note is we don't control our own destiny. Before I open up for questions, I'm going to address something that just transpired and they brought to my attention today, that Travis is a finalist for the Walter Camp Player of the Year, Maxwell Player of the Year, Bednarik Defensive Player of the Year, Lindenkoff Best Receiver, regardless of position, and was snubbed by the Thorpe. How? How is Travis Hunter snubbed by the Jim Thorpe Award? You can have my award, you can have it back. Matter of fact, I'm going to give him mine. I ain't using it, just sit up there collecting dust. So Travis could have my Thorpe Award, because if this ain't the most idiotic thing in college football, that he's not a finalist for the Jim Thorpe Award, and he is, I would say arguably, but I don't think it's really an argument about this young man being the best defensive back in college football. I ain't saying nothing about the receiver part of it. I'm just talking about defensive back. He rarely gets thrown at. He's won a game for tackling for us, and he's always on point. So if you bring up the statistics, I don't know how in the world is Travis Hunter not a finalist for the Jim Thorpe Award. They just pretty much messed up all the integrity of the award, and he could have mine. Whoever's voting down there, who's ever bringing it home, thank you, because I don't even want mine now. God bless you.
So I had a thought about this, man. Get where he's coming from. I just want to say, people respond to moments. People respond to memories more than they respond to abilities. Everybody knows Jalen Milroe can ball. Everybody knows he can run right through, beyond, past, and around the defense. But people are waiting for him to have that moment that they'll never forget, like how Vince Young had against USC. So Travis Hunter can ball. Everybody know that. I don't think that means he deserves to be in the Jim Thorpe Award because he can ball. What's his moment, though? I understand that he had a tackling moment in the end zone, yeah, but right now we know him for playing both sides of the ball. Don't necessarily know him for a very specifically amazing and timingly play he made on the defensive side of the ball. A reason why we supposed to know that we ain't supposed to throw towards his side. Was it the pick against UCF or the pick where I think Colton Hood had batted the ball and he came back and got it? Or was it the pick against Colorado State? What other pick he had where you just like, oh man, can't go there at all. He is all over that wide receiver. No, Travis has been getting beat. It's on the tape. There's some drag routes and some hitch routes. And then against Utah, Dorian Singer ran by him and scored a touchdown. But they're supposed to give him the Jim Thorpe Award because he's shutting down everything. Because he's always on point. No, you know what? Travis, you're a junior. You balled out this season. That's for certain. But I'm going to call it like I see it. Colorado fumbled not just an opportunity to go to the Big Ten title game. And I hope they do find their way back in. But they also fumbled an opportunity to prolong the season so that voters, fans, NFL scouts can get the opportunity, can seize the opportunity to see these guys play in post-season play. That's where the legends are made. That's why we know Vince Young for that run. Vince Young could have been balling at Texas for God knows how long. If he didn't have that moment against USC, you don't know him. You don't know him. It's that touchdown that they always show. Gotta have a post-season moment. That's why Devontae Smith is at the Eagles right now, still balling post-season. He balled through the whole season. But post-season, it's confirmed Deshaun Watson ain't balling no more. But he was balling in the postseason. If it wasn't for him, Clemson ain't winning chips. Postseason had Tim Tebow in the league. First round pick. Postseason, Cam Newton. Postseason matters. Colorado fumbled the postseason, but not just Colorado fumbled the postseason. I hope they still make it. But they fumbled an opportunity to prolong their season. To prolong opportunities, to prolong games, to prolong opportunities to put more people on. You want people to continue to watch and get to know who Cameron Silman Craig is? Play longer, play more, play in games that matter more. So you're not playing against Kansas State and Cincinnati and, come on now, Big 12 names, Utah and BYU and Iowa State. No, now you're playing against Ohio State and Georgia and Tennessee and Indiana and Penn State. Oh my, Miami versus Colorado. Notre Dame versus Colorado. Now people going to get to really see these guys up against these other guys they never get to see, and people going to be like, oh my goodness, it's amazing how good this man is. Oh, this is not a terrible draft class. Oh, wow. He's that good. He just tore up the Georgia defense. He just tore up South Carolina defense. Oh, and he's going to win that award because he's going to have postseason play. The names that are in the Thorpe Award, I mean, those guys have been around forever. And those guys have storied names, storied opportunities, storied moments. But the biggest thing about Travis is the way that he brands himself. He brands himself as the best two-way player. But he has had a better season as a wide receiver than as a DB. It's pretty special that they put Travis Hunter on the Defensive Player of the Year list to Chuck Bednarik, because he's made good plays on defense. And I think he pulls the defense along with his energy, his ability. Biletnikoff, Travis Hunter being on the Biletnikoff, it makes sense because I think he pulls Colorado's defense along mightily. Colorado makes big plays because of Travis Hunter. They got LaJohntay Western to make some, plays here and there. And LaJohntay Western and Will Shepherd makes big plays, but they don't pick up the heavy load. They carry their water. But Travis Hunter makes very big plays in all kinds of moments on sometimes the most basic catches. Him being there chosen as a Biletnikoff Award nominee is a huge opportunity, I believe. Now, Travis Hunter being nominated for the Maxwell Award. I mean, that within itself is a Heisman. It's the player of the year. It's him, Ashton Jeanty, Dylan Gabriel. I think that within itself is amazing. But Deion Sanders wants him to also win the Jim Thorpe Award. Jahdae Barron from Texas, Caleb Downs, Ohio State, and Malachi Starks from Georgia. These are guys with 3 big storied programs. They're choosing 3 in every single category. Who did Deion Sanders want to bump out of there? These guys are at the biggest programs. They're playing against the biggest schools. All 3 of those guys have had big moments in the seasons, in bowls. Caleb Downs just had a very big moment against the in the Indiana game that really broke that game open and tore that game out the frame and let it be known that Indiana, you guys will not be coming back, and this will not be a game. We're not going to play with y'all. Where was that moment for Travis Hunter against Kansas? Because in my opinion, a Heisman winner makes winning plays. Travis Hunter makes a lot of plays, but I think there are a lot of plays that are left on the field sometimes. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think Ashton Jeanty is going to win the Heisman this year. And I'm saying this because his numbers are spectacular. He's only focused on one side of the ball, so he's put all of his energy in that one skill set, as well as his team. They have put all their energy, all their eggs in a basket. Ashton Jeanty is getting the workload. So they focus on him. He's the focus of that offense. Whereas with Travis Hunter, they try to spread the ball around. Travis Hunter probably gets the ball about 45% of the time. Pretty good. But Travis Hunter's team has lost more. They've lost games in very bad ways. Whereas Ashton Jeanty's team has won all of their games except for one game against the number 1 team in the country right now. And it was a very close game. He's balled in every game. 100 plus yards in every game, over 2,000. He's breaking records that have been untouched, and his team is going to have postseason play. You can't compete with all of those things I just said. I'm sure there's more. If I was on a different website and looking through the very specifics, like I would see all the different numbers and different ways that I can postseason play. Ashton Jeanty is going to win the Heisman because of postseason play. They're going to say that he has a better story now because he officially is on a team that played further, played longer, made it last longer. He was able to pull his team further than this other guy who y'all want us to believe is the Heisman. That's why they tend to give it to the quarterback, because the quarterback pulls the team along, and you can see it in their play and their numbers and the team's ability and how far they've gone. So my message for Travis Hunter: you want the Thorpe? You want the Heisman? Come back. Come back to Colorado. Come back for your senior year. The league don't need you right now. Come back. Double up on your NIL money. Next year, you're the one that's going to be making what Shador makes, or bigger, better. Allow Julian Lewis to come in and throw the ball to you for his first season. And go on defense. Play offense and defense. And officially become the leader of the defense. Officially become the voice of the defense. The person who can talk to the defense and win games on defense. The Ray Lewis of the defense, the Ed Reed of the defense, the Sean Taylor of the defense, the voice, the leader. not just the baller, somebody who's always on point. That's not good enough. You want to be somebody that they can't stand to not consider for playing both ways in the NFL, even though it's never been done? Go back. And will this school into the playoff and stop playing around and losing games? You're not supposed to lose. You wasn't supposed to lose that game because y'all got to figure out how do we win this game, not oh yeah, we just gotta execute the plays that are called. It's so much deeper. Deion, that was a very good answer, actually. It was a good political answer for Deion to say, we just have to execute the plays it's called. Because that's right. Whatever they did call, they have to execute whatever they did call. Because when I watch the tape, Colorado's there. They're just not making the play or they're getting beat. So I say, Travis Hunter, come back. Come back. You got another year of eligibility. You weren't able to accomplish what it is you wanted to accomplish. What did you want to accomplish, actually? Why not come back? You'll be probably the only person on the cover of NCAA. Your stats will be ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. You'll be the only player on NCAA playing both ways, unless maybe they start breaking the game with somebody else who comes in through high school and they're like, no, I'm doing it. And will this school, through the Big 12, consistently, every game in, every game out, and will them into the playoffs? You'll spend another year getting bigger, putting on some weight, and next year, there will be no question as to who should be the Biletnikoff, the Thorpe, the Heisman. Listen, I hope Colorado finds their way into the playoffs. I understand that there are very plate tectonic-like movements in the loss column that has to take place, either for Arizona State, BYU, Iowa State, or Colorado. But I hope full on that Colorado finds himself into a Big 12 title game and they're able to continue to compete. I don't know that they're going to make the changes that they need to make because that 3 games in a row now where they haven't made the changes and they haven't really been accountable about addressing how they haven't made the changes when they talk about it in the press conference. Because when they talk about it in the press conference, that's not who we are. That is not the kind of team that we are. And people ask him, well, do you feel like you have to say anything to the defensive coaches or anything? And Deion will say, well, our players have to execute what's called. But when I'm watching the tape, I don't see, and it's not just the execution. I don't see a focus on the other team's strength. I don't see a focus on the other team's strength. I don't see that. Oklahoma beat Alabama, not just because of the refs. They beat Alabama because how they focused on Alabama's strength. Alabama makes big plays on the back end with Ryan Williams, Bernard, Jam Miller, and Jalen Milroe. They took the run away completely. Tried to take away the pass, but Ryan Williams still just makes amazing plays. But the refs nullified 2 of his touchdowns. Now, you take those 2 touchdowns away, you take away yards from the offense. You're taking away drives, you're taking away momentum. They lose that game. The refs did what they did, but you can see how Oklahoma was focusing on Jalen Milroe. There were 2 to 3 different defenders around Jalen Milroe every single time he tried to take off out of the pocket, through the tackles. Anytime he tried to get loose, find some daylight, there were people there waiting on him. Oklahoma came into that game focused on keeping contained. It looked like they were playing over him with a spy and with a focus on contain. Nobody who rushed a little too thirsty and got in the middle of the lane and created a completely just open lane for him to take off through. Everybody who rushed found a way to funnel him back inside. And it showed. You take away a lot of big runs from Jalen Milroe, you do take away a lot of production from Alabama. So I don't see that in Colorado's. It's not just their players executing. I don't see that in Colorado's coaching. When Deion says they were intoxicated on success, I find it hard to believe he's talking about his team. I feel like he's talking about himself. I think he's intoxicated with the success. I feel like he's one of the people who is the least bit focused right now. He seems focused because he is focused when it comes to getting his mind right. But I don't understand how he got a whole new TV show with Roxy that's dropping while he's trying to get his team into the playoffs. Maybe he shot that at a completely different time where he's going to be doing this at the same time. But the ball is being dropped. It done been dropped 3 times throughout the season now. 3 times now. 3 times where we can notice it and see it, where they can't come out with the dub. Nebraska, Kansas State, Kansas. That Midwest is trouble, ain't it? That Midwest is trouble, ain't it? Right there in the middle of the country. The ACC Commissioner, Jim Phillips, spoke out about Miami, SMU, and Clemson's ranking, claiming it's too low. There's too much talking going on, in my opinion. Way too much politicking. All everyone needs to do is win. There's way too much talking. There's way too much politicking. People crying out, I think it's better to get a 5 seed than this seed. The committee needs to fix this. I think you need to win. That is your job. That is what you're here to do. Win. Week in, week out. Win. You're allowed losses here and there, and people will understand a loss as long as you understood the loss and you're able to bounce back, not just next week, but the next time you play against a team that plays like the team you just lost to, or the next time you play against that team. Because we're going to see Oregon and Ohio State again. Win. I'm sick of it. Ole Miss just got caught up in it. I don't know if we want to play in an SEC game. Me and other coaches are talking about it. Well, you and what coach? Because neither one of y'all probably playing in the game now, unless you was talking to Kirby. But what you did when you was talking to Kirby wasn't smart. So what I did there? Listen, I would like to start seeing some cross-pollination between these conferences. I would like it where if you're going to have 12 games a season, I think about 7 conference games is perfectly fine. But you need about a good 3 to 4 games outside of your conference play to really differentiate and understand what kind of team you are. I think every team from every conference needs to play another team from just about every conference within that division of football, Division 1A. And that is going to help verify strengths of schedules. So yes, play 7 teams from within your conference, 7 games, 7 conference games. But then I think the other 5 games, a team from the SEC needs to play a team from the Big Ten. They need to play a team from the Big 12. They need to play a team from the ACC and a team from an independent. Nothing crazy, none of that Division 1AA, none of that. So Division 1A, but you have to play somebody from a different conference. I think that will help verify strength of schedule. Second to last but not least. Again, I think officiating is taking over the sport. NFL, NBA, NCAA, these refs have too much power. There just needs to be an opportunity to hold refs accountable. They can't just be this third party that comes in and just calls the game the way they see it. We don't even know who they are. We won't know how these refs train. We won't know nothing about these refs. These refs don't got no recruiting. We won't know if this is a 5-star ref or a 4-star ref. We won't find out until we in the game. How that's fair to you? You a fan, you from LSU, you from UF, UM, and here you go, this ref from the ACC or the SEC calling the game, and he calling crazy calls, or he just calling this call too much, or he not letting the game play, or calling it like he see it. And it's just not really flowing for game material. It's just coming off as a game that's called too tight, or like somebody who's trying to win his own parlay. These refs, man, come on, man. I feel like coaches should be able to make phone calls, a different flag, hell, a different color flag. Listen, on this one, I'm throwing the green flag because you just took away a touchdown from me, and I'm calling for a review on what you just said was a pass interference, or on what you just said was illegal touching. I'm calling for a call on that because I need you to go back in there and look at that. And I also need everybody who's watching television to see this moment a little bit longer and to give you an opportunity to really sell it. You about to lie to these people. So you need to go in there and watch this up under that tent, and then you need to come back out here on national television and tell these people that that ain't no touchdown. So now when you go and do all that, now you got to come on here and really perform that line that this is not no touchdown, because people going to mess around and burn you at the stake for how you say it, the way they did in that Texas-Georgia game. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm proud of those fans from Texas who threw all them bottles. I don't care what you say. I'm proud of it. These refs be cheating, man. They be cheating. They be cheating, man. I'm sorry. I ain't no way to say it. They just be fucking the game up. I was trying to do this without cursing. They be fucking the game up. Calling it like they see it. Who is you? Who the fuck is you? Calling it like you see it. All I'm saying is call it like you see it. This way, I don't got to curse. Call it like you see it. We just going to slow the game up because I got to call a flag on that play. Coaches should be allowed to challenge bad calls. One challenge a half. 1.5, if you don't use it in the first half, you get 2 in the second half. The thing rolls over. Rollover challenges. You need it. You need it. And it will give referees an opportunity to turn calls over because sometimes they want to. And I don't like the whole idea of a ref trying to make up a call on another situation. That's sloppy business, man, because then they get to doing it later in the game, and that just hurts you later. That'll hurt the other team later. It hurts the integrity of the game. Fans can see it. The NBA's rankings are tanking. You don't need none of that in the league. You don't need none of that. You need an opportunity to give these coaches more of a chance to win their games. People are trying too hard. They working hard, man. They spending millions of dollars in NIL. And you mean to tell me some referee who working hourly or maybe salary gets to make this call? What kind of shit is that? That don't make no sense, man. That don't make no sense, man. What we doing? What is this? It's people traveling for these games, paying for these games, broadcasting these games, talking about these games, getting the stats on these games, making videos talking about these games. And you letting some guy in some striped outfit make calls? What's going on? What? How? Why? For what? Who is they? Where they trained at? What's their NIL number? What's their 5, 4, 3 star? Is this a 2-star ref getting ready to referee this SEC championship? Who is this? How come I can't log his journey? He put on the stripes, so I'm just supposed to believe he like everybody else who done been in them stripes. But he calling kind of crazy calls right now. What's going on, man? My last topic of the night is the college football playoff bracket. Now, there's going to be a couple more weeks, so there's absolutely the likelihood that this bracket can change. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the madness. But looking at it the way that it is right now, I just want to say that it's a big gamble to put Texas where they are right now because Texas has this game against Texas A&M. I'm going to go with Texas. They have a lot more firepower than Texas A&M. Texas A&M has very specific strengths, and their strengths are shrinking as the season lags on. Okay? Them not having Le'Veon Moss, big problem on offense. They're very strong up front on the defensive end, but sometimes they can lag where it comes to their DBs. Texas has a lot of different ways to hurt you, whether it's with the running back, whether it's with Helm or their wide receiver core. So I'm going with Texas. I'm going with Texas because of the way that they play on defense and the way they play on offense, and the fact that Texas A&M is struggling. I know they're scraping. I know they are in a position where if they win this game, they get a chance to keep fighting. I'm going for Texas for the sake of clarity. I'm going for Texas for the sake of believing that there is clarity and that there is a top team in the SEC. If Texas comes up short, I'm coming for Steve Sarkisian. It's about Steve Sarkisian and the way he's talking to them and the way he's preparing these guys to play. Period and point blank. Miami's got Syracuse. Syracuse, I had it out for them at the very beginning of the season. I liked this team since the very beginning of the season. I just knew this was also the kind of team that didn't necessarily have the kind of defense to win games that they should win. So, I mean, I've seen Syracuse lose games to teams they shouldn't lose to. I've also seen them lose in ways that is just, you shouldn't lose like that, like the way they lost to Pitt. But Miami finds a way to play everybody close. I like the fact that in that fourth quarter, they took off on Wake Forest. So I would like to believe that Miami is in a flow and they're going to bring that same kind of energy into this next game because they're going to need it. They haven't been playing on turf all season, so I don't know how they're going to move on turf. I hope that they are already doing that because Miami don't have no room for no letdown right now. I want to see Cam Ward get into the playoff. I just did my own first bracket, and while doing my bracket, I literally found my way to scratching names off, and I found my way to picking Miami to win it all. So I don't know if I'd pick them again if I did another bracket, but they're the team that I picked because I just believe Cam Ward is, he's that Vince Young player. He's that guy who's like, I liken him to Cam. I liken him to Patrick Mahomes. I'm just keeping it real. That's how I see him. I see him as the guy who makes those kinds of plays, winning plays. It's just about his defense and whether or not his defense can get him the ball with short field within an advantage, as opposed to the Miami Hurricanes constantly playing a game where they're gambling on their season, betting on their abilities. I don't. They put themselves in that dangerous position too much. I shouldn't pick them, but I still am caught up in the magic. Boise State. I hate the fact that Boise State is there. I'm not shy about that. That should be a Big 12 team. Period. And point blank. Okay, Boise State is lucky to host a home playoff game. Y'all want a better seeding? Put better teams on your schedule. Period. Point blank. No, you don't get to skip all this other processes because you won your conference. Your conference ain't like this other conference. It ain't no guess. It ain't no guess. Okay? So, no. I don't like that spot. I just think it devalues calling anything a P4. And then it would also devalue the whole idea of reseeding. So, no, I don't like that. I don't like that they're there. But can't wait to find out about y'all. Can't wait. Oregon. Got to take care of business against Washington. I know that seemed like it's light work, but y'all mess around and slip up this last part of the season, then you ain't really going to be in that spot low-key because Ohio State's right on your tail. I think that's a conference game. So if they mess around and lose that, then yeah, Ohio State going to take that spot. But Oregon got Ohio State coming up in the Big Ten title game. That's going to be. So Oregon ain't got no time to have no let-up. So I'm really interested to see how Dan Lanning preps them for this game, to see how does Oregon come out here and try to dominate and try to win this game. A lot of these players, you're seeing the coaching through the players. Okay, Georgia, man, what a ride. Georgia, I'm shocked that I picked Miami to win it all when Georgia has had the type of ride that they've had, and Carson Beck hasn't been able to see himself struggle. And now, if he can really get through that struggle and get into a space where he's in his bag, I mean, the man will have seen it all. It'll be hard to choose. It'll be hard to pick against him when he's playing with a team that got a defense like that. I would take Georgia over Tennessee. Ohio State over Arizona State, I think, probably based on what Ohio State can do on defense. But I would love to see Arizona State in this game, though. I feel like Arizona State does have the moxie to play with Ohio State. And if there's a team from the Big 12 that won't embarrass the Big 12, Arizona State looks like they'll be that team because Arizona State has some of the most balance and they can just keep you a bit off balance. The fact that they can hit you with that uppercut with Cam Scatterboo, but they can come right across your chin with Jordan Tyson. And then, slip you a little something dirty with Mateer at the tight end position, just when you thought it was just about Tyson. And so I'm trying to figure out what kind of defense Arizona State has. And I'm interested to see how Arizona State does play this game this weekend, because I have Arizona State versus Arizona. I know Arizona has just been all over the place, inconsistent, and, sometimes balling and barely, really sometimes at all, barely. But Arizona versus Arizona State is a rivalry game. And beyond the fact that it's a rivalry game, the only other game I've really seen Arizona State lose this season, yes, there was the one where Sam Levitt didn't play, but they also lost against, and the name doesn't come to me right now, I think it was Texas Tech or Cincinnati or both of those teams. But they lost to teams that could put the ball in the air, if I'm not mistaken. Now, the biggest difference, especially when it comes to Texas Tech, is they got a guy on the ground who really can get it on the ground, But so I do see Arizona State winning this weekend, and Arizona State versus Ohio State I think it would be the best representation the Big 12 would have to offer. I would still have Ohio State in that game, though. But I think we'll see if Oregon State even wins this weekend, and if that's completely a different spot. If that might end up being Oregon versus Arizona State. Old Pac-10 energy. They played in the Pac-10? I think so. Yeah. Okay. Penn State, Indiana. I love this. I heard what's his name? Pat McCaffrey. I heard someone talking about how it's a problem and they need to fix this. The fact that these conference teams are playing against each other. I think it's great. I don't think there needs to be a spread Big Ten opportunity for Big Ten teams to meet in the title game. That's gross. We ain't got no time for that. Get out of here. If that happens, I guess. But no, we don't need that. We get the Big Ten title game, and then we get the Big Ten consolation prize. Because that's who Indiana and Penn State are. They're the consolation teams of the top. The one-loss consolation teams of the Big Ten. Play it out, and one of y'all knock each other off. We ain't got no time to be seeing y'all playing this no more. That's just me keeping it real. I also want to say, as far as Indiana goes, I got my eye on them. Because a lot of people are talking about the strength of schedule, and I get that. But it still says something about a team that can go in game after game after game, no matter who they're playing in those games, and win those games. I do still believe that all of these teams should be trying to get Vanderbilt on the schedule. And then even if you play Northwestern, everybody can't play Northwestern from the Big Ten. So since everybody can't play them, everybody ain't going to be able to get them on the schedule. Somebody going to have to put Purdue on there, and somebody going to have to put Iowa on there, and somebody going to have to put Michigan State, and somebody going to have to put Michigan, and somebody going to have to put Ohio State, and somebody going to have to put Oregon, and somebody going to have to put Nebraska. And lo and behold, you go play somebody you don't really find yourself wanting to play. And we're going to find out about your team well ahead of schedule, and you're going to find out about your team well ahead of schedule. We need we need more out-of-conference games. I believe that in the regular season. But I love the fact that they put Georgia versus Tennessee and then Penn State versus Indiana. To me, it's like Big Ten, a Big Ten section, a SEC section, a Big Ten versus Big 12 section, with Ohio State and Arizona State. That could have also been an SEC versus Big 12, so that's cross-pollination section. And then you got independent versus ACC. But this could look all kinds of ways. This could have been ACC versus ACC if a couple more teams would have been in the mix and just been in the hunt this season. It could have been, more SEC sections. It could have messed around. Who knows? It's so many damn teams in there. But okay, and then lastly, Notre Dame versus SMU. I mean, who's to say that Notre Dame gets out of USC with a dub? Are they still in that spot? They liable to get into like the number 12 spot or something like that. So, because I don't think they're taking Notre Dame out. But, I mean, maybe. I mean, they're close. They're on the edge. I know they want to try to get Clemson in there. These are all heavy on me. I don't say any of these lightly. These are game-changing thoughts, in my opinion. Okay? Game-changing. I want to see the referee business, the referees, the game behind the game when it comes to the refs. That needs to change. It can't be about the refs. It can't be about their opportunity to call. They should be able to call, but a coach should be able to pull a flag or throw a flag on it and say, hell no, that ain't no pass interference, because these are game-changing moments, and a random-ass referee has way too much control sometimes. I think Travis Hunter should come back for his senior season and take the college football world by storm again, but this time in a way like never before seen. Come through and just dominate. You and Juju Lewis set him up right. I'm talking 15 catches a game. I'm talking about 2 touchdowns a game, because let's just be real. Travis Hunter, in my opinion, has not had that game. He's had moments where you can see how much he impacts the game. But he hasn't had that game where he had that 4 touchdown game or that 3 touchdown game, and he just happened to win this game. That game against Kansas, that was the kind of game where you just need your quarterback to start forcing him the ball or something. You cannot afford to go 3 and out again. You got to be able to pay attention to the fact that y'all are going 3 and out again. I say, Travis Hunter, come back. Win all the awards you see yourself winning, but become that player. Not just because of your skill, but because of your ability to lead this team, because this team lacks leadership. They lack leadership. Nobody from the Big 12 had a better opportunity to find their way into the college football playoff and be ranked right next to Ohio State, other than Colorado right now. Not nobody. Colorado might have messed around and been the team having that bye round right now and moved Boise State about the way. But they couldn't stop the run to the point where this coach, Leopold, felt confident about running his running back 37 times. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't just find it in them to say, this ain't going to be that kind of game where we got to play 20 yards back, y'all boys. We going to have to make them throw the ball, y'all boys. Travis Hunter, come back. Come back and dominate. And dominate. Don't leave the game in nobody else's hands. Don't rush to the league because you can make this same bread. You can make this same bread right here in college. Come back. Come right back for your senior season. It'll be the talk of the whole season. Come right back. Tear college football up. Find your way to the playoffs. Dominate the Big 12 and get your way into the playoffs first round bye. I'm talking about the recruiting for Colorado would be crazy. You don't even need the NFL right now, son. You don't need it. Don't rush to it because you're going to find yourself on a team you don't really want to be on. I heard you say you want to go to Denver. Find a way to maneuver that, to make that happen. Find a way. Find a way. Give Sean Payton time. Come back to college. Help Deion. Help Colorado and get this school to where it can be. I think he needs to play with a quarterback like Julian Lewis, who he gets to influence how to play this game so they win the way he wants to play, where he's not just the star of the team, but where he is the focus of the team. He's option number one, and they're feeding it to him. If you ever watch Arizona Wildcats play to see the way they force feed the ball to Tetterow and McMillan, you ain't never seen it? Watch them. Noah Fafita be looking for Tetterow and McMillan like, y'all boys, hold on. Where he at? Caught that one. Come on back, Travis. Come on back. Last but not least, Ole Miss, almost. Coach Lane Kiffen and almost. Your best bet is Tennessee losing this week. Georgia losing to Georgia Tech. That's your best bet to get caught right back up in the mix. Texas beating Texas A&M. Your best bet is just to get caught up in the mix with a bunch of snafus in the SEC. But you should have had them ready to play. Period and point blank, period. Oh, man, I'm looking forward to this week. This is going to be big. This is going to be huge. We're getting ready to wrap things up. Colorado really going to have to focus on stopping the run against Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State hasn't had a single win in the conference this season. You think they don't want to get one? You think they don't want to get one? You don't think it'll be the perfect opportunity to catch Colorado slipping? Since Colorado already got a bowl game locked up, so we might as well. Colorado better come out, score fast. I think they would like to really make up for what happened last week and get their ego back right, get their lunch back. So I expect them to come out and to ball early and often. I'm talking about 56-14. Type of win to make you forget how bad they lost last week. But it's still there. I see people who don't realize that they've been losing so much that they accept mediocrity. Fans of Colorado who say things like, it's all right that we lost that game. We're right where we need to be. No, son. You don't understand that you don't really get these opportunities ever again. You think you're right where you need to be? You're right on the edge of losing Travis Hunter and Deion Sanders. So you right on the edge of fucking around and finding out what type of team this is. When you already know what kind of team they are right now. And you already know you got this game and this opportunity to win right now. This is your opportunity. Right here. Right now. Right here. Right now. This is it right here. Right now. You got to win right here and right now. Because you don't get to just guarantee you're going to win it again next year. That's what they thought Alabama was going to be. And Alabama done lost 3 already to teams you would have never expected them to lose to. So it don't work like that. It don't work like that to where you get to just prance around here. That's how you know you got a mentality that's just based in mediocrity. You don't get to keep these players forever. You don't get to keep that success forever. You don't get to keep that success forever. Next season, you get it rolling again. We back 0-0. You don't mess around and win this first conference game, you 0-1. You mess around and lose that second, you 0-2. And then you just find out what kind of season it's about to be. So you got to seize every single opportunity. I'm looking forward to what's going down. Listen, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Happy post-Thanksgiving. I hope everybody enjoys their holidays. If you got to this part of the video, I appreciate you, man. Look, we'll appreciate it more, though. You mess around and hit that subscribe button. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Right, hit that subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Me and you. We might mess around and vibe. I just had to do that. I'm about to put this Thanksgiving food away. Listen, man. See how that leg off balance? Give me my Heisman.